Have you ever wondered how we figured out there's no air in space before we actually went there? Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how we knew there was no air or gravity in space, and that we'd need special suits before we even got there. To answer this question, we need to take an amazing scientific journey back in time to see how scientists, using their brains, observations, and experiments, figured this out. So get ready for this journey. Let's start with the basics. In the 17th century, an Italian scientist named Galileo was among the first to demonstrate that air has weight. He conducted experiments showing air is a substance that has mass. One of his experiments involved trapping air in a sealed container and weighing it, proving that air indeed has mass and exists. Following Galileo, a German scientist named Otto von Guericke took this further in 1654 with one of his famous experiments. He connected two metal hemispheres and pumped out the air inside to create a vacuum. Then, he harnessed two horses to try to pull the hemispheres apart. Guess what? The hemispheres didn't separate despite the horses' efforts. This experiment showed the strength of atmospheric pressure and highlighted the significance of air. In the 19th century, French physicists Jean-Baptiste Biot and Félix Savart discovered that light can travel through a vacuum. This was a major revelation, indicating that light doesn't need air to travel. If light can travel from the sun to Earth through the vacuum of space, it means there is no air out there. Another crucial experiment was conducted by Danish scientist Ole Romer in 1676. By observing the eclipses of Jupiter's moons, he deduced that light takes time to travel from Jupiter to Earth. This showed that light moves through empty space with no air to slow it down. Isaac Newton's theories of gravity and motion demonstrated that planets orbit the sun in what appeared to be empty space. If there were air between the planets, their movements would be very different, and air resistance would slow them down. Hermann von Helmholtz and James Clerk Maxwell studied electromagnetic waves and light behavior, showing that these waves could travel without a medium. This directly led to the conclusion that space could be devoid of air. A fascinating story involves early telescopes and astronomical observations. When Galileo first used his telescope to observe the skies, he saw celestial bodies moving in what seemed to be empty space. If there was air between these bodies, clear observation would be impossible. Changes in air pressure at higher altitudes also demonstrate that air gradually decreases. Mountaineers climbing high peaks feel the lack of air. This indicates that the higher you go, the less air there is until you eventually reach empty space. Experiments using weather balloons also contributed to our understanding of Earth's atmosphere and the vacuum. These balloons were sent to high altitudes and showed that air pressure gradually decreases until it reaches zero. In the 16th century, William Gilbert, an English physician and physicist, proposed that the space between planets is empty. He believed that no substance existed between planets to impede their movement. In the 17th century, Robert Boyle and Robert Hooke conducted more vacuum experiments. Boyle used his vacuum pump to show that sound cannot travel in a vacuum, reinforcing the idea that space is empty. Early unmanned spacecraft sent to space helped us learn more about the vacuum. One such spacecraft, Sputnik 1, was the first satellite launched by the Soviet Union in 1957. This satellite helped us understand that space is empty and devoid of air. Scientists understood that sound requires a medium, like air, to travel through. In space, because there's no air, sound cannot propagate. This is why astronauts use radios to communicate in space, as radio waves can travel through the vacuum. Evangelista Torricelli, a student of Galileo, invented the mercury barometer in 1643. This device measured atmospheric pressure and demonstrated the existence of a vacuum above the mercury column when air was removed. In the early 20th century, scientists like Victor Hess discovered cosmic rays, high-energy particles from outer space, which further indicated the vacuum of space. These rays wouldn't travel the same way if space were filled with air. Before actual space missions, scientists conducted experiments in vacuum chambers on Earth to simulate space conditions. These tests helped develop spacesuits and equipment that could withstand the vacuum of space. To prepare astronauts for the vacuum of space, NASA uses zero-gravity flights, also known as the vomit comet. These parabolic flights simulate weightlessness, giving astronauts a feel for the conditions they would face in space. In the 18th century, English astronomer James Bradley discovered stellar aberration, the apparent shift in the position of stars due to Earth's motion through space. This phenomenon further supported the idea of space being a vacuum. In the mid-19th century, German physicist Heinrich Geissler developed vacuum tubes that emitted light when an electric current passed through. These tubes showed that even in near-vacuum conditions, electric currents could still travel, reinforcing the concept of a vacuum. The behavior of comet tails also provided evidence. Comet tails always point away from the sun, regardless of the comet's direction of travel. This indicated the presence of solar wind in a vacuum, not air. Of course, discovering that there is no air in space wasn't as simple as I explained in this video. You might say these were just some simple experiments, but in reality, scientists worked for centuries to reach the conclusions from these experiments. I tried to summarize and explain it in simple terms in this video. If you found this topic interesting, I highly recommend watching this video where I explain why the sky is blue. You've probably wondered why the sky is blue when you were a kid, right? Well, you'll be amazed when you learn the reason. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end of this video. Don't forget to like the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay curious and full of energy until the next video.